Hi, I'm Chef Ed Brown and I'm here to show you today a great dish, olive oil poached salmon with chickpeas in 3 different ways, all featuring hoja blanca Spanish olive oil, which gives a very olivey rich flavor and pungency, and that's what lets you know that it's rich in antioxidants. So let's start by preparing the soca. The soca is a traditional chickpea flour cake that you can make thick or thin. In our case, we're going to make it a little thicker and we're going to be baking it. So I have some beaten eggs, water, olive oil. In this case, I'm using piqual, a little bit of a pungent kick from the piqual olive oil, and just adding my chickpea flour. Okay, that'll all come together as a nice batter. A little salt. And you notice it's a little on the thin side, and it's going to bake almost like a custard. So once this comes together, we're going to pour it into our parchment covered pre-greased pan, and it's going to go into a 350-degree oven. It only takes about 12 to 15 minutes to bake. It bakes like a cake when the center is completely cooked and not wet. And you can make this as thick or thin as you like. And after it's baked, we'll flip it out, peel off the parchment, cut it into circles, or you can cut it in any shape that you like. Let's talk about olive oil poached salmon. So in this case, we're going to use the hoja blanca oil. The reason I'm using the hoja blanca oil is that it has a sort of more olive berry flavor, a rich olive flavor, and also a little bit pungent, which is what lets you know that it's full of natural antioxidants. That's a real big star of the health benefits of Spanish olive oil to begin with. So, using my special thermometer, I've got my oil to about 112 to 115 degrees. So we're going to introduce some other flavors to the oil. I like just to take some cheesecloth, make a little sachet of bay leaves, lemon zest, garlic, thyme. You can add coriander, you can add peppercorns, whatever you like. That little sachet just goes into your oil, and let that just hang out there in the warm oil for about at least 15 minutes or so before you're ready to poach the salmon. The salmon will go into the oil, and we are not frying, we are poaching. And it's this gentle dance or transference of warmth from the olive oil to the salmon. It was important that the salmon was at room temperature first, so it doesn't take a lot of time getting it from cold to being warm. And the idea is to just gently warm the salmon over a period of time, and frankly, the longer the better. And as long as you have the oil never exceeding that temperature of 110, 112, that could literally stay in there for hours. It'll never be overcooked. And we're trying to achieve a very luscious texture of the salmon. At the same time, it's going to take on olive berry flavor with that little bit of pungency that we spoke about. So that's just going to cook nice and gently. Once the fish is in, I actually take it off the fire, off to the side. Since most stoves have a pilot light, just that little tiny flame will be enough just to keep that warm and cooking gently over the next period of time. So on to our second use of chickpeas. In this case, we're going to be using dried cooked chickpeas. Again, a little hoja blanca. I use a pretty fair amount here. Into the pan, some shallots. Just get those started. I want to sweat them. I don't want to really get any amount of color on them. So as the shallots start to become translucent, we add our garlic, some cumin, some red pepper flakes. You could also use some espelette pepper there. I'm bringing that together just to sort of soften them up and to activate the pepper and the cumin. Now we add those pre-cooked chickpeas to the pan. And some water, or chicken stock, or if you have reserved some of the cooking water of the chickpeas themselves, that's also great. And as these start to soften up, I'm just going to take my fork and smash about a half of these chickpeas. And we'll have some whole, some smashed, and it'll sort of come together as a nice combination. And we'll let that cook for a few minutes. Season with salt. Lots of fresh black pepper. And we finish with a little bit of lemon juice. And lots of chiffonade of fresh parsley. Salmon's cooking beautifully. We see very few white spots on top, which means it's cooking gently and slowly. And then just for good measure, we're going to add a third chickpea to the dance here. Simply some olive oil, the fresh chickpeas, which you just take out of the pod, blanch them, shock them. I'm going to start by sauteing them gently in a little bit of hoja blanca, Spanish olive oil. I just want to warm them. I'm not looking to color them. I just want them to stay nice and green and beautiful and shiny from some olive oil. So now let's put all these parts together and make one beautiful dish. So first, the soca came out of the oven, flipped over, took the parchment paper off and cut out circles. You can use them right at that point. If you like, you can saute them in olive oil, which I've done just to get a little brown color on them. I'm going to put that right, just a little offset from center of the plate. Our chickpea mixture is nice and smooth with the chunks of the chickpeas in it still. I'm going to add a little bit more olive oil to that just to make it smooth. This is like finishing mashed potatoes with butter. I'm finishing it with olive oil. And in this case, again, I'm using the hoja blanca because I want that olivey, pungent flavor. So mix that in. And I'm going to put that on. And I'm just going to sort of smear that on the plate a little bit. We've got our olive oil poached salmon. This is right on top of here. And in comes that third chickpea variation of the fresh chickpeas, fresh garbanzos. Like plenty of those on the plate. A little bit crunchy, different flavor. And interesting that we've used the chickpeas in 3 different ways. And like all other dishes that tend to be low in animal protein, veg forward, veg centric, Mediterranean, we can always add on something. And in this case, I'm going to add on the addition of just a half of a medium rare poached egg. These are very simple. Cook them only for about 8 minutes. Have the center being a little bit, I call it fudgy or medium rare. Sprinkle a little salt on the dish for flavor. And just to continue with the hoja blanca for that pungent flavor of the dish, I'm going to just drizzle. And just 1 grind of black pepper. So there we have it. Olive oil poached salmon, chickpeas in 3 ways. We finished it off with a soft boiled egg, and featured throughout the dish in all the different ways from the poachings through the seasoning is the hoja blanca olive oil. It gives you that great olive pungent flavor, and again, that's what lets you know that there's a lot of natural rich antioxidants in there. Just delicious flavor. This dish was made with extra virgin Spanish olive oil. Taste the truth.